Surprisingly, it may not be because of what's in people's wallets, but rather because of a psychological phenomenon associated with the credit card bill themselves. For years, Brian Brandow had a good-paying job, a nice house, and a boatload of credit card debt.
We were spending more money than we were making and using credit cards to kind of finance that.
And when the bill came each month, he paid the minimum, even when he could afford to pay more.
We would take that money and look for other ways to spend it. We felt if we could make the minimum payment, regardless of the balance, that we would be okay.
Researchers estimate 9 to 20% of Americans base payments on the minimum due, even if they can pay extra. Now, a new study suggests a reason why, a psychological phenomenon called anchoring.
Anchoring is the idea that some piece of information, maybe it's completely irrelevant information, is having an influence on your decision.
In this case, that's the minimum payment, which is always featured up front and center on your bill. Economist Ben Keyes co-authored the study.
It's right in the dead center of every month's account statement, and I think a lot of consumers use that as a guide to influence their choices more strongly than they otherwise should.
And while the Card Act of 2009 forced companies to add disclosures on minimum payments to their bills, Keyes says it has not stopped anchoring behavior, and more steps are needed.
I'd like to see credit card companies do more to inform their customers about the time that it takes to repay their debt if they're only paying the minimum, and give them online tools to allow them to develop a budget and a repayment plan that works for them.
As for Brian and his family, it took 4 years of cutting spending, but today they're debt-free.
We just really kind of fell into the trap of, well, everybody has a credit card, everybody has credit card debt. It's normal to do that. People need financial education. Back in the 1970s, minimum payments hovered about 5% of your current balance. These days, however, most banks only charge 1 to 2% of a cardholder's balance. Experts say this makes it much more difficult to get out of debt when you're only paying the minimum due. I'm Joanne Purton, 7 Action News.